And breaking free from that is cutting those strings of that from that puppet master, cutting those strings so that you become an autonomous being. Only then can you truly walk in your purpose and truly walk in your path and truly become your greatest self. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mystic Temple Spirituality for a New Age. I'm Monica Bay, also known as the Divine Mother, and I am here to bring you truth. Okay, so today is Divinity session number 33. First of all, that's a master number. It's an amazing number, and today is not going to disappoint. It'll be right along those lines. So, first, I have something to announce before we get into the Divinity session. We have just launched our Spanish YouTube channel. Yay! So, you can find that at Mystic Temple Espanol. Okay, so we have now just expanded into the Spanish language. We have an Instagram page, which is also Mystic Temple Espanol, and the YouTube channel Mystic Temple Espanol. So all of these divinity sessions will be translated into Spanish. They already are. We are slowly rolling those out. So if you are a Spanish speaker, go ahead and subscribe and follow those accounts, and you will be able to get all of these messages in the Spanish language. One thing I want to note about language, we will be expanding into other languages because, as you know, we are expanding all across the world and not everyone speaks English. So we are going to be expanding all across the world. We already have built local communities in both Mexico and the U.S., multiple places in the U.S., multiple places in Mexico. So this is why we are starting with Spanish. However, we will be expanding into other languages. But one thing I want to say is that the Book of Rashida, as of yet, because the Cosmic Collective Consciousness has not given me any direction otherwise, but I have received initially that the Book of Rashida needs to remain in English so that nothing gets lost in translation. So the Book of Rashida will continue to only be in English, but the messages and the divinity sessions will be in multiple languages. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, woohoo, we're excited about that. We are really expanding. And again, this is part of the Global Awakening Initiative. Keyword in there being global, okay? It's important that we reach people in other languages because everyone needs to hear this. Everyone needs to be a part of this movement. Everyone needs to be uplifted and saved from all this crazy chaos in this world, okay? And help us usher in that new world. All right, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and dive into the passage today of the Book of Rashida, and it is as follows. See now, the message is clear. Do what you must to save the rest and save yourselves. To save others is to save yourself because we are all one. You will rise together or fall together. Tap into the greatness of your potential and see all that exists beyond worldly perceived limitations. The light is yours and always has been. Deafen the sounds of naysayers and puppet masters. Okay, so this passage is in your face. Okay, so we're going to break all of that down. And of course, as always, there are multiple layers of meaning in this passage. But the biggest thing that really stands out is the comment about puppet masters. But we're going to dive into all of that in a second. So I want to start at the beginning of the passage where it states, see now the message is clear. Do what you must to save the rest and yourselves. And when you save others, you save yourself because we are all one. This is, again, referring to the concept of oneness, how we are all one. And we have talked about that, and the Book of Rashida has stated that multiple times throughout the different passages that we've gone through so far. And so this is, again, driving that home, but in slightly different context. When we talk about oneness and saving others as well as ourselves, the fact that us saving other people saves ourselves is really, really talking about that connection that we have. It's really a collective effort, and it's really a collective movement forward. If we get left behind, if others get left behind, we get left behind because we either fail or rise together. So we have a collective fate. And this is why it's so important to pay attention to what we are doing ourselves individually as well as collectively. Because when we do our part individually, we help the collective. And if enough of us are not doing our part, then collectively we begin to fall. And that's exactly what's been happening. And that's why the Book of Rashida is here to usher in that new world and help us all rise together. And think about community. When we look at the collective as a community, when you think about a local community and how negativity, for instance, just as an example, negativity can spread throughout an entire community, starting with one person. And each person that continues that negativity, now the entire community is then brought down, versus the opposite. When one person starts with positivity, that begins to spread, and all of the people, or at least most of the people, start to exude that positivity, then the community begins to rise. And this is what this passage is talking about, a collective falling or rising, and it's up to us. But I want to talk for a second about the word saving in this passage, because I know that the obvious question is, okay, we're being saved, but what are we being saved from? I'm a person who likes answers, so I'm going to give you answers. But that's answered in the rest of the passage when it talks about puppet masters. So a lot of times we are, for the vast majority of human beings, we are not really autonomous as we think we are, right? We are not fully independent in our mind and in our spirit and the things that we do. We think that we are controlling our decisions, but it's not us controlling our decisions usually. It's the powers that be that are controlling our decisions, that are infusing you with negativity, that are infusing you with certain belief systems, false belief systems, that are infusing you with limiting beliefs, that are infusing you with chaos and distractions. Okay, this is what is actually happening in this world, and this is what this passage is talking about. We rise or fall together, and now is the time where we need to start pushing away all of those distractions that are purposely put in our way. Examples: the media. That's a huge example, right? The 24-hour news cycle, okay? And even if you're not a person who watches the news anymore, we have social media, which is the same thing, which is feeding you with negativity, depending on what you allow in your feed. But sometimes you don't have control over that, right? And what you're allowing. But the most important thing is what you're allowing in here, because the things that are being fed to you distract you. We are kept busy all the time, kept busy in our minds and in our spirits and in our action. Chasing consumerism keeps us distracted from the truth. Chasing things outside of ourselves keeps us distracted from the truth within us. Okay? Focusing on all the other people's issues, other people's problems, watching, social media, getting into other people's lives, right? Instead of focusing on our own. Okay, I told you this passage is in your face, and so I know some of you are like, "Oh, she's talking to me." Okay, so this is an example of a puppet master, because when you are consuming all of this information, you are consuming all of these distractions, right? Because when you are consuming all of this information constantly, and you are consuming all of these distractions and allowing them to actually distract you from your purpose, from your yourself, right? Because it's energetic noise. When it talks about deafening the sounds, it's talking about actual sounds, things that are being said that you take into your subconscious. But it's also, again, multiple meanings. It's also talking about energetic noise. Energetic noise are all these distractions that we deal with. Energetic noise is social media and also auditory as well. But energetic noise is the stress, the things that we focus on that don't matter. Okay, this is all noise that distracts us from our purpose and distracts us from really seeing the truth of everything in this world. We get stuck and focused on negativity, and we allow it to drive us and to control us. That is the puppet master, okay? And so the point of this passage is to get you to see that, is to open your eyes to what's controlling you. And it may not be the media, it may not be social media is usually controlling most people. Whether you understand that or not, if you notice some of your thoughts and opinions, they are shaped by the things that you see constantly. And if you are scrolling social media all day, whatever bubble you end up in, because social media will put you in a bubble of whatever it is that you like, and you'll constantly keep seeing those same things that'll keep reiterating the same points or the same belief systems or whatever that is for you. So whatever bubble you are in, it is feeding you usually nonsense regarding those things. And so you are being controlled, and this is a subconscious mind control, okay? But it's also a spirit control and not allowing you to really see the what's inside because you're focused outside of yourself so much. You're focused on, okay, I have to go, I have to get money. Let's talk about consumerism, okay? This is a huge thing that is purposeful, okay? It is purposely put into our paths. It is purposely put on our shoulders in this life. Consume, 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 consume. Distraction. It is a distraction, okay, from yourself. You don't need all these things. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with having things, okay? I like things, but and I used to be into that consumerism, okay? I used to do all of that, but I no longer do that. Why? Because I've been awakened and I recognize what's happening. It is a train that just keeps going and going and going. And you don't want to be on that train. What train you want to be on is, yes, having whatever it is that you want in life. There's nothing wrong with that, but not being distracted, allowing yourself to focus inward, allowing yourself to see the truth of the world of what's really going on because you can't see the illusion of separation. You can't see the illusionary world that we're living in when you are so distracted by everything that's going on. And this is everyone, almost. This is almost everyone. There are many people who have elevated past that, and hopefully many of you have, but I know many of you haven't. And this is why this message is coming out right now to make sure that you are awakened to these realities. And in talking about this, I want to make a point here about stress because this is one of the largest distractions in our world. When we are stressed, we're not able to actually focus inward. We're not able to see the truth of anything. Why? Because when we are in a state of stress, our sympathetic nervous system rises, right? And it turns on and flares. That is where we become, that is our fight or flight response system. That is our worries, our fears, our anxieties, all of those things. And when that is heightened, the clarity of our mind is not there. Think about the society, wherever you're watching at home, 'cause I know we have people all over the world, whatever culture you are in, whatever country you are in, think about how the society is structured with stress, and especially those of you in the US. Stress is built into the dynamic and the very fabric of the culture of the United States and other countries as well. So think about how stress comes into your life and how you are taught or not taught to deal with that stress. Okay? This is something that is prevalent everywhere. And the more you are stressed, the more you or the less you are able to see the truth, the less you are able to actually acknowledge what's really happening, the less you are actually able to acknowledge what's happening inside of yourself. And these things affect you not only mentally, they affect you emotionally. And when your emotions are heightened, then it's even worse, okay? It's even worse because emotion clouds judgment. So there's multiple things going on when you're stressed out and when you have anxiety and when you are in fear because of all the fear mongering out there that keeps you in line, that keeps you in a box, that keeps you complacent, okay? All of these things that are happening keep you distracted from what's really going on, from the control that's actually happening. And breaking free from that is cutting those strings of that from that puppet master, cutting those strings so that you become an autonomous being. Only then can you truly walk in your purpose and truly walk in your path and truly become your greatest self. And in this passage, it says for you to tap into the greatness of your potential and see beyond the limitations of this worldly plane, these false limitations. And the reason why it says see what exists beyond all worldly perceived limitations is because once you see that, then you can step into the greatness of your potential. And it says, see now, the message is clear. I don't think this message could be any more clear what is necessary. So, what I want you to walk away with is the idea and the acknowledgement and the acknowledgement that you need to really take a hard look at your life. You need to take a hard look at what influences you have around you. And I need you to look beyond the surface because most influences, as designed, are not going to be something that you can see, right? There was a previous passage that talks about the deception in the light. These are things right in front of your face, but they're done in such a wonderfully orchestrated and strategic way that you don't see them, you don't notice them until you start to look, and then you start to notice them. So the point is to be mindful about your beliefs, be mindful about what you're doing and how you're moving through life, and really start to silence and deafen the noises and the distraction, energetic and otherwise, around you, so that you can then begin to see. And again, of course, one of the ways to do that is meditation, like I'm always talking about. I love meditation. It is so powerful. So meditation is one of the ways of doing that, but also just moving through life mindfully, moving through life with intention, making sure that when you make decisions, pay attention to your choices. When you are making decisions, are they aligned with your values? Are they aligned with your true beliefs? Or are they regurgitations of what someone else has said or portrayed to you? Are you thinking for yourself, or are you being run by a puppet master? And remember, the external world does not dictate your potential. When it talks about stepping into the greatness of your potential, you have everything you already need for that. Everything you already need. You don't need all the consumerism, all of the negativity consumption as well. You don't need all of those things. And all of the things that you may think that you need before you can step into your greatness, you already have everything you need. And as life continues on, everything that you need at that moment will begin to enter your life. But you have to be aware and you have to be mindful of what's happening as you move through your life. When you enter junctures, okay, you enter crossroads where there's a decision to be made, and you realize you're at a juncture or a precipice of a quantum leap spiritually, or you are at a precipice of a new pathway that is opening up for you. If you are not paying attention, you'll miss the point and you will miss the opportunity to move in that direction. And also staying in the present moment. When you are in the present moment, okay, you are able to really start to see. But again, when you are in those heightened states of stress or anxiety and all of those other things, you're not able to stay in the present moment. Why? Because when you are in fear, you are in the future usually, or sometimes you're in the past, but you're not in the present moment when you're in fear. Those moments where you are in fear and you are stressed out, you are not in the present moment. So practicing mindfulness, and mindfulness is simply being in the present moment. And I've told you guys one way before that I really like, that works for everybody. Very, very easy to get into the present moment, to snap yourself out of a state of stress or anxiety or fear or any of that thing, is just simply look at an object in front of you and say the word out loud, even yell it if you have to, now, and it'll snap you right back into the present moment. And then stay there. Don't go back into the future or the past. Stay there. When you are in that present moment, things start to get clear. When you're in the present moment, your sympathetic nervous system starts to decline and your parasympathetic nervous system starts to be more prevalent. Your parasympathetic nervous system is where you can receive mental clarity, where you can receive emotional clarity, where you can receive spiritual clarity, and all the distractions can go away, and you're able to see things for what they really are, and you're able to really get the truth. And what truth that is what's inside of you. And the truth that is in the world, you'll be able to see things from a completely different perspective when you start to do that as an actual practice. So how to do that is simply moving through life. And even if you, the now thing is a great way to just kind of snap you when you need it. But another way to actually start to be in the present moment, just as you're going through your everyday life, is just pay attention to what's happening. And one thing that really helps is anchoring. So looking at something in front of you is a way to anchor into the present moment. So if you're at work, looking at something at your desk, you don't have to yell now. It works, but you don't have to. You can just continuously, okay, I'm in the present moment. I'm noticing this, I'm observing this, I'm noticing what's happening inside of my body right now, while you're moving through life. And at first, when you first start to do this, it's going to be a little difficult because you're going to be like, this is weird, I don't know what to do here. But as you continue to do this as a practice, it will become so much easier, and you will start to remain in the present moment. Remember that habits get formed over time. And scientifically, statistically, It takes about 20 days to form a lasting habit. So if you do this for 20 days in a row and you get better and better as you go along, you will start to naturally stay in the present moment. And when things snap you out, you'll be able to get yourself right back into that present moment. But if you are not in the present moment, you will miss what's actually happening. And the veil over your eyes will continue to thicken. So we want to lift that veil. We don't want veils over our eyes. We don't want deceptions. We don't want any of that. We want our power. Because when you are deceived, you are not in your power. When you are allowing a puppet master to control you, you are not in your power. I need you to be in your power. And this is what Mystic Temple and the Book of Rashida is all about. And what I am here to help you all with is to bring you back into your power, to remember who you actually are, because you've been lied to and you continue to be lied to. And we are not going to allow that. This stops now, okay? This is the era of us rising up. This is the era of us rising up. And I need you to rise up. But it takes you and all of us together collectively to raise the entire earth. This is what we're here for. And now, with that, I am now going to speak love, life, empowerment, and awakening, awakening of truth within all of you at home using the divine language. Okay. Tu sakunti. Tu sakunti destu. Tu sakunti olo oxo. Eshna popo eshna sha. Eshna popo eshna sha olo oxo. Olo oxo tusa. Usura. Usura. Usura tusa. Usura. Usura tusa. Usura. Usura tusa. Eshna popo eshna sha. Oxo. Olo. Oxo vectusos olo. Oxo vectusos olo. Oxo vectusos olo. Eshna popo eshna sha. Eshna popo eshna sha. Eshna popo eshna sha.
And now I will end with a prayer in the divine language, which essentially means peace be unto you. Zor Kulti. And I'll see you next time.
Sitting in silence, eyes to sky, feeling the stillness. Let the world go by. Energy rising through my spine. Crown chakra glowing, infinite divine. Open to light, chase away the night. Feel the universe in the sacred flight. Breathing in deeply, peaceful and free. Lights all around me, I am aligned to be. In this connection, I find direction. Just me and the stars, knowing who we are. Open to light, chase away the night. Feel the universe in this sacred flight. In this connection, I find direction. Just me and the stars, knowing who we are. Open to light, chase away the night. Feel the universe in the sacred flight.